Imagine you're listening to a shipwreck story. The eyewitness survives, but their voice never makes it onto the record. What would the world believe instead? Today's question is strange, but it's real. What if history is missing the most important witness? Not because they forgot, not because they lied, but because myths, artifacts, and biased records replaced testimony that should have mattered most. History isn't just facts on a page. It's survivors. Some voices survive in writing. Some survive in memory. Some survive only as objects. And many never survive at all. So let's look at how that changes what we think we know. First, myths. A myth often starts with something real. Someone tells an account. Then it gets passed along. Over time, details drift, names change, dates shift, motives get explained. Complexity turns into a clean lesson. Myths are powerful because they're easy to carry. They're memorable. They fit a community's identity. But that same strength can smooth over the truth. A myth can hide gaps in the evidence. It can make uncertainty feel like certainty. Sometimes the missing witness is not one person, but many. If a group is pushed aside, their stories are less likely to be recorded. Later, the dominant culture writes the history. The result isn't just an event record, it's a record with a tilt. Now picture a library of texts. They sound detailed. They mention kings, battles, and laws. But if the perspectives of the people who paid the cost are missing, the meaning of every line can shift. The story can look orderly. Real life is usually messier. Second, artifacts. Artifacts are treated like neutral proof. A tool, a pot, a building. We assume objects can't lie. But objects speak in a limited language. They show what was made, what lasted, what got preserved. They don't show the thoughts behind the making. They don't reveal fear in a room. They don't tell the private moment when someone decided not to write anything down. Artifacts also reflect survival bias. Wood rots, paper burns, stone survives. That means the record may overvalue durable things. It can undercount what didn't last. Then there's context. Many artifacts are found without the full setting. A broken piece might be moved long ago. A site might be disturbed. Without context, purpose can be misread. Even with decent context, interpretation can split. Two researchers can examine the same object and build different stories. Incomplete evidence forces assumptions. And once an assumption becomes a habit, new findings get filtered to fit it. The missing witness becomes even more missing. Instead of asking what artifacts can't answer, we make artifacts confirm what we already believed. The key pattern is simple. When the human voice is gone, we fill the silence with our best guess. Third, biased records. Written history often comes from institutions, courts, churches, empires, and wealthy patrons. These groups had reasons to frame events. A record may be propaganda. It may be a legal justification. It may be a moral sermon dressed up as facts. Even genuine accounts can be selective. People keep some details and lose others. Now imagine the most important witness is missing. Maybe the witness was illiterate. Maybe the community was conquered. Maybe the witness was killed. Maybe archives were barred. Or maybe the record simply didn't survive. When that witness is gone, we lose more than a perspective. We lose checks and balances. We lose questions they would have raised. We lose contradictions they might have corrected. We lose small observations that reveal the real sequence of events. Biased records can also create gaps that look like mysteries. You see silence in the timeline, then assume something dramatic happened. But it could be simpler. The missing pages may never have been written, or they were written and erased. Translation adds another layer. When texts move across languages and centuries, meanings shift. A word can drift. A metaphor can become treated as literal proof. A careful description can be read as exaggeration. Without the original witness, we can't easily ask, "What did you mean?" We only hear a distorted echo. So how do we handle this? How do we avoid building entire worlds from half-truths? One answer is to treat history like a puzzle with missing pieces, not like a finished map. When evidence is incomplete, we should be honest about uncertainty. A cautious claim is stronger than a confident guess. Another answer is to compare types of evidence. If myths, artifacts, and records disagree, that disagreement can be a clue. For example, a text might describe a peaceful event. Artifacts might suggest sudden destruction. A myth might center a heroic figure, while the material record hints that the reality was more complicated. Disagreement doesn't automatically prove which side is right, but it forces deeper attention. It reminds us each kind of evidence has blind spots. We should also ask who benefits from the story being told that way. Biased records often protect power. Myths can unify groups. Artifacts can be interpreted through modern lenses. When the framing changes, the conclusion can change too. And sometimes the missing witness returns in unexpected ways. New excavations can uncover a site that was overlooked. A newly discovered document can challenge older assumptions. Oral histories can survive longer than written records, even when they were dismissed at first. Still, we have to accept a hard truth. Some witnesses will never come back. The past can be studied, but it can't be fully recovered. Now bring this closer. Think about a rumor that spreads. Think about a family story passed down. If the person who experienced it never speaks again, the story becomes what people want to believe. History works the same way, but on a larger scale. So what if history is missing the most important witness? Then the real question becomes, how many of our certainties are built on silence? The past can be weighed and tested, but we need a steady mindset. Ask what's missing, not only what's present. Look for the shadows left by erased voices. Because when we forget that a witness could be absent, we stop hearing the story as it truly is. Not as a complete record, but as a living reconstruction. And maybe that is the most important lesson history can offer. Not that we always know, but that we can learn to listen for what we can't yet hear.